What's up, everybody? How you doing? How we doing? Hope y'all got your Jesus in this morning. But go through a couple sound checks real fast as we get a few people in here. But y'all know what time it is. It's that time again. Tell me there's a better sound in the world. Just gonna let these guys. NFL on Fox. It's just good to hear those sounds again, man, and actually have some real football to look forward to in the process. So we're just going to kind of run through the checklist real quick. 0 people in here right now because y'all aren't expecting me to be live because I haven't been live on YouTube in a long time. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to do it this way. Here's how we're going to do it. We're going to go live on TikTok as well. That's where everybody expects to see me. And we're going to filter the followers from TikTok into the YouTube channel. Got one person in here now. There we go. Let me get the comments in here. That way I can see when you guys are saying stuff. And we'll answer questions from the TikTok side of things. That way it's more interactive on the YouTube side when people come in here and see it. I'll get it shared on all across platforms as well. Instagram, Twitter, all the fun stuff. One time for Lil Jon. Yeah! All right, let's go. TikTok live. Cowboys, not camp anymore. We're not talking about camp today. We're talking about Cowboys preseason. And there's, you know what? I mean, there's really not a ton. Hey, we got D _ Y91 in the house. Appreciate you, man. Found you from Twitter. I'm a fan of your work. Go Cowboys. Yeah! Let's go. Can you guys hear me okay? Mic check. Sound checks, everything sounding good on your end? DE, let me know, man. Cowboy, hold on. Let me get this popped back in here. Rams versus Cowboys preseason game number 1. Go live. All right. We are live on TikTok now as well. Have some more questions to answer. That way, you hear the sound drops and all that too? Okay! Like I said, I hope y'all got your Jesus in this morning, feeling good on Sunday. Football's on the tube. The Cowboys are playing real live football yet again. We are so back, y'all. So back. But one time for my guy, Bishop Bullwinkle as well. Here we go. Hell to the no, no. Hell no. Get this plugged up. Make sure everybody from TikTok can hear me loud and clear. Loud and clear. Got 2 microphones. Call me what's the guy that has 2 phones? Y'all know who I'm talking about. What's his name? The Puerto Rican? Pretty sure he's Puerto Rican Johnny, but I forget his actual left foot in the house. How we doing, Lando? Good to see you, man. I'm doing well. Thank you. This is so this is a test run, man. We're figuring out, we're troubleshooting all the video and audio stuff. Trying to make sure we're good for the actual real game day number 1. Y'all let me know on the TikTok side once I do a couple. About to get knocked out over here by my own light. Bear with me. All right. If I have one more cord in here, I might lose my mind. Okay. TikTok, let me know. Can y'all hear this? Let's get the NFL anthems. Can y'all hear that right there? Let me know. Can y'all hear that? does it get you hype? That's question number 2. Get the blood flowing the same way it does for me. I'm telling you right now. So Matthew Jones from the TikTok side, he says, I saw your post about the CD problem. I think you're referencing, if I'm not mistaken, the one where Jerry Jones was taken a little bit out of context, or there was just missing dialogue there. Yeah. So my prediction is actually, I said that there's so much going on right now in the world of just the Olympic media coverage that Jerry Jones doesn't have his spotlight yet, right? So he's going to wait for that to end. Once the Olympics follow through, then he can, have every single mainstream media headline that he wants, and life will be good on the Jonesy side of things, and we might see a contract drop. That was obviously just speculation. One of my followers on Twitter said, "You're just tinfoil hatting that," but I definitely don't disagree. So, just having fun with the situation, man. I'm tired of all the I don't know, I guess the fake takes and things like that. So, I'm just trying to enjoy every second and have fun. I know you feel me on that one, but let's see what else we got over here. A couple more questions rolling in. So can we expect CD to stay in Dallas? Can we? Yeah! Yes, we can. You already know. He's not going anywhere, y'all. Don't worry about that. I know there's once again, there's miscommunication, there's misinformation, there's missing dialogue, all the misses. So don't fret. That's why you got people like me to keep you in the loop. I'll do the best I can to do that. I'm calling for Dallas to go 14-3. Well, considering they went 12-5 a year ago and didn't have any idea of who they were, and and what they were doing offensively prior to the bye. Really, after the San Fran game, they kind of regrouped, got into the bye week, and then after that, they were a completely different offense. So yeah, 12-5, despite not having the run game coordinator for the first 6 weeks of the season, or for a 6-week stretch between weeks 1 and 7. Yeah, I mean, it's not crazy. You can tell me 10 wins all the way up to 14 wins, and you could make a legitimate case either way. You think Prescott will stay too? Yeah! Yep. I don't think so. Another thing I've been trying to explain to people, whatever trepidation that Jerry Jones may or may not have, Stephen Jones is really the guy that we need to be talking about here, but Jerry's the guy that gets the headlines. People think that he's making all the decisions when he's really not. He's kind of just Mr. Marketer now. Whatever trepidation Jerry and Stephen and Will and the rest of the Cowboys brass have towards paying anybody, much less, it doesn't matter who it is, but paying anybody the amount of money that Dak Prescott's talent and market will command, they are much more fearful of walking through another 10 to 15 year drought of just pure quarterback purgatory. I'll say that again if I have to, but I don't think I have to. I think that the term QB purgatory should speak for itself, especially for a guy like Jerry Jones, who's 81 years old, right? Time is not his friend. So, damn! Yeah, 81 years old and not getting any younger. There's some things people have been requesting, suggesting, demanding change from Cowboys fans and the like, right? Everybody really, but anybody who's just a fan of football kind of gets tired of Jerry's dealings and happenings, right? But the reality of the situation, and he is a smart businessman. He is a brilliant marketer. That's why it's the number one franchise in the world right now, really. But I understand where you're coming from. Okay. And if there's any hope, right? I was trying to preach this in my postmortem series. That was like 16 straight weeks on YouTube after the debacle in the Packers game, right? If there's any change, or if there was any hope for you, if you are just to the point to where you are so done with the team so long as Jerry Jones is living and breathing, well, you could definitely say that he's going so far against the grain this year that like you can kind of make the case that he sees the end, just as far as time not being his friend. He's sort of seeing that. And so, man, I'll tell you what though, he's going against the grain will be putting it lightly right now. So just gonna have to see it all play out. Like there's so much. It's kind of why I'm here right now too. I just kind of want to talk to you guys, get the pulse one last time, pulse of the nation before we before we end up going and hitting the ground running with actual live, meaningful football to start breaking down and seeing how things are shaking out. So they need a head coach like Jimmy Johnson to make it back. Well, I mean, you might get your wish next year, but the reality of the situation too is we got to be honest about ourselves about everything that's transpired, right? In Mike McCarthy's tenure, they're a 12-win football team every year. I mean, I can't really pound the table for needing a new head coach when that is the case. Now, if you want to talk about the postseason, that's a different story. And yes, there are times when it does seem as if the Cowboys are outmatched, but man, with the personnel last year that they had, just being as one-dimensional as they were offensively and defensively, there wasn't really much, like, especially just think about from Dan Quinn's perspective, right? He's got a converted safety free agent linebacker, or a free agent converted safety playing linebacker at 205 pounds. I mean, in the postseason, it's just not going to work. You can't win that way. Now, the other side of the coin is the figuring out the run game woes, averaging 3.2 yards per carry each of the last 3 playoff losses for the Cowboys. Yeah, that's on Mike McCarthy. Most people want to just point the finger at one particular person, and it's usually Dak Prescott. He really doesn't have very much control, if any, over that either. He's got a lot of responsibility and autonomy at the line of scrimmage, but when you can't move people in the middle, and part of that was just because of the hand that Tyler Biadasz was dealt, right? He's a smart player, he's a cerebral player, he's a good athlete in the middle, but he's not a people mover the way that Cooper Beebe, in theory, like we would think about him being at some point. That's another discussion too. So I want to talk a little bit about some of these matchups and things to watch today. Obviously, Cooper Beebe, the learning curve at the center position, getting some of the snapping the football, right? It's taken a little bit more time than we anticipated. Myself, like we, as in me included, like we didn't really think that it would take that long. People that have played the position, or just any offensive line position, right, making the transition, they say, in most cases, it's like, yeah, you need 2 weeks of just heavy reps, and then it just starts to sort of become like riding a bike again, and you kind of just you find your flow, and you get it going that way. But the learning curve has definitely not it hasn't made things easy. So for Cooper Beebe, but his time will come, and once again, today is going to be a major stepping stone towards figuring out how long it will take, if at all, for him to overtake Brock Hoffman for the starting center spot. Brock Hoffman is just like Biadasz. Need Beebe to figure out the snapping of the ball. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the case right now. Now, once again, we've really only seen, like, the legend of Brock Hoffman exists from a 2-game sample size as a starter, and one of which was against the backups from the Commanders. And so a lot of people were just like going into like pre-draft before Cooper Beebe was even on the roster. We were saying, oh yeah, we feel good about Beebe, or I'm sorry, we feel good about Brock. And that's fine. And I respect and appreciate the optimism, but feeling good about him doesn't guarantee anything just because we haven't seen him enough yet. But, he got the vote of confidence from Dak Prescott, who said, quote, "I'll go to war for that guy any day." So that's always good to hear, the fact that you've got a MVP caliber quarterback going to war for him. He's like, yeah, this is the dude that's ready to rock and roll right now. Stamp of approval, vote of confidence. I'll get behind it, right? At the end of the day, I want to see the best man win, right? People were ready to shoe in Cooper Beebe as a starter. That was fine with me, as long as he's the best player. I don't want politics getting involved with people like Mike Solari, who are old school in nature, right? With a guy like Brock Hoffman, who a lot of people wanted to just label as a veteran, but I'm saying, hold up now. Like, whoa. Chill out right here. Where we at? He's not a veteran yet. Okay. He's been on the team for a while, but that doesn't mean you're a veteran. You're a veteran in this league when you have quality starter reps long enough to be mature on the field, right? Being mature in the locker room is one thing, but on the field is a completely different thing. And so there's levels to this, right? But anyway, at the end of the day, you guys probably saw my post on Twitter. I was like, look, I don't care who wins this thing, but let's just let them duke it out. Let the competition in the room elevate the room, meaning the center spot, right? And let's let these guys go to war and let the best man win. I don't care who it is. I love the ceiling of Cooper Beebe much more than I love Brock Hoffman. But Brock Hoffman, if that's a dude that's really war ready, You see the war paint on his face. I mean, he definitely looks the part, right? But he's a much smaller guy. We don't know if he's going to move people at the rate that we know that Cooper Beebe can. But if he can marginally move people more or better, I should say, than Tyler Biotish, then bingo. You've taken a step in the right direction. Anyone know what time we play? 3:30, my man. Yeah, it's Central Time. Thanks for clarifying that too, Ruthless. I'm worried for Dak. Our wide receiver running back room looks untalented at best. Well, man, so I will ask this question then. Have you how tied into the happenings in Oxnard have you been? Because a lot of people would tell you that they are, let's just say, very pleasantly surprised, to say the least. And it seems as if right now the Cowboys are going to have to make not one tough decision at receiver, but two, potentially even three. So if they're only keeping five guys, then you're talking about Tyron Billy Johnson, Jalen Brooks, Jalen Cropper, and then Ryan Flournoy. That's four guys really competing for one or two spots. So you're going to have to make two really, really tough decisions. And there's a lot of people that feel right now as if the Cowboys have six guys that could be on any 53-man roster, not including CeeDee Lamb. So that's kind of interesting to me. Once again, that's all, like, doing it in camp is one thing, right? There are legends of Cowboys camp in Oxnard every single year. Like Simi Fehoko was one of them. Even Tyron Billy Johnson, I don't know if I mentioned his name a second ago. He deserves to be mentioned because he's taken over camp too. That's a veteran guy. That's, he's been all over the league. He's a journeyman. He literally embodies the very definition of that to the T. But very talented in his own right. He's just as polished. He's polished in a way that most rookies aren't, just by knowing how and what to do and how to win, right? And he can win in a variety of ways, but his speed over the top is great. His break, like, you can just watch him. He's fluid in and out of his breaks at the top of every route that I've seen him run. And it's just like, it wouldn't be the first time that he's put on a show for the Cowboys in the preseason either. So this is his second bout with the team. And I think he's been on like 12 or 13 different teams in total, something crazy like that. But, rooting for a guy like that to finally just find his footing. And he made an interesting comment. He's like, yeah, once you get cut once in this league, especially like if you don't have first round draft status, if you get cut once, then it makes it that much easier for 31 other teams to do the same thing to you, because it's a copycat league, right? So anyway, the receiver position I think is actually in really good shape. Once you add CeeDee to the mix, you get Brandon Cooks in year two. Finding that chemistry with Dak, because chemistry, as we know, is very important, and sometimes it takes a little bit of time. But like you saw, Dak, once they sort of handed him the reins to the offense after the bye last year, it was just spam feed CeeDee Lamb. That was the dude that he was the most confident with at the time. But now this year, he's developed that repertoire with Jalen Tolbert. Jalen Tolbert has taken that step as well in preseason. In training camp. But now we need to see that also verify itself in the form of preseason football as well. My wife on the YouTube side of things, I watch Daddy work from my daughter Hagen. That's cute. Hi Hagen, I love you. I love you, baby. Here's a message for you. Let me get a funny one for you. This one's for Hagen. Do you dance? Oh my gosh, kids are amazing. I love it. Who's RB? I think so. The question from Carlos: who's RB in Dallas? I think he means who's RB1 in Dallas. That seems to be, by all accounts, Rico Dowdle and nobody else. Now, Zeke Elliott was brought in here for a reason. He's going to handle all the short down and distances, all the goal line work, right? He's probably going to lead the team in touchdowns, but I think my eye test as well. Look, granted, once again, I'm not on site in Oxnard, so I don't have the best feel for it. That's where days like today are really valuable. And it sucks that we're not going to get to see Deuce Vaughn. He's been nicked up as well. Same with Royce Freeman. But it gives guys like, Nate Pete out of Missouri, the rookie, undrafted player, Malik Davis, obviously, who's a veteran in this Cowboys room and has shown the ability to handle some of the special teams duties. So that seems like a dude that's definitely going to have a shot, especially if guys like Deuce and Royce aren't healthy. Then, something's got to give, and that opens up a spot for somebody else. But RB1 in Dallas, if I had to bet, I said this weeks ago, I said it months ago, actually, probably. And I'll say it again today, and I'll probably say it again tomorrow. I think Rico Dowdle is going to lead the team in touches and yards, but Zeke Elliott's probably going to lead the team in touchdowns. So I hope that answers your question. Like I said, if your coach don't do very good, is Jerry Jones going to get another coach next year? Well, it seems as if that's all but imminent at this point, right? Yeah! I mean, we're operating on a 1-year contract, so win 12, 13, 14 games again, and then sniff the NFC Championship game, and we may see Mike McCarthy on a contract extension, and deservedly so. But don't do that. You know, that butt gets real warm real quick. Trey Lance playing today? Yes. So that's the topic of the discussion. You guys probably clicked. You saw the thumbnail on the YouTube side of things. Trey Lance. This is this is a dude that we haven't really seen play in an NFL game, a meaningful one, since September of 2022. And he started he had one college season accrued to his name. So reps, man. This dude needs reps. I do want to pull up a tweet real quick if I can do that without. No, actually, I don't know if it's going to let me do that or not. Once again, I got to get better with the interface. But the point was, Mike Zimmer, he's going to mix things up, right? He's going to change the pre and post snap picture. He's going to move things around, like disguise looks. Like, you're not just going to line up similar to the way Dan Quinn did and sort of give your tell to the opposing offense, right? Mike Zimmer is very crafty with the way that he changes the post snap picture. Okay, so we've even seen reports like he's made it very difficult. Even though Dak Prescott's had a hell of a camp, he's made it difficult for him to sort of process things. And you've seen and Dak's even been openly admitted of that. Like he's saying things like, yeah, just almost laughing at Mike giving him a little bit of trouble, and he's excited about that because he knows. Like, just think about it. If that's a dude as tenured as Dak is in this league, who has the people like Aaron Rodgers, Peyton Manning, Eli Manning, even both guys on the Manning cast, and they're all just so complimentary of his command at the line of scrimmage and what he's able to process it. Like, that's the whole reason why quarterbacks get better with time, and like the QB prime happens later at the quarterback position than it does most, if not every other position, and you can play much longer. It's because it's all up between the ears, like your post snap processing, your pre snap understanding of everything, and then your just ability to add things to your repertoire, like mastering back shoulder throws and challenging different areas of the field and layering the football in ways that you previously couldn't, right? And then just, once again, just being able to see everything, not being surprised by anything. So if we know what we know about Dak's command of not only this offense, but just the experience that's granted him the ability to not be fooled by anything that he's seeing from any defense, and this defense from Mike Zimmer is still giving him problems, then what do you think it's doing to somebody like Trey Lance, who hasn't played a lot of football, period? Right? Like, so that's why you're seeing some of these reports about Trey Lance looking terrible, like early on, and people were just like ready to mail it in after two live practices, 2 padded practices. Like, Trey Lance can't do it. He has no idea. Well, he doesn't even know what he's seeing yet. And then now he's got this mastermind defensive, this defensive mathematician in Mike Zimmer, who's going to throw everything, including the kitchen sink, at him. Yeah, it's going to be tough early on, but guess what? He started to stack good days. So the whole point of my tweet, and I'll put a bow on this discussion and continue answering more questions, is don't be surprised when you see a dude in the preseason, especially against backups in a lot of cases after the first couple drives, and very vanilla defenses, teams who aren't going to necessarily be creative, but even if they were, they're not going to be nearly as creative as Mike Zimmer is, with just rolling coverages and things like that. He's going to look pretty dang good, y'all. And there's going to be, like, once again, all the discussion is going to start happening. Oh, the Cowboys should pay Trey Lance and let Dak Prescott walk. Well, okay, once again, context is key here. Keep that in mind. Like, yeah, looking good in the preseason is a very different thing from doing it in the regular season too. So, but the whole point I'm getting at is that I think Trey Lance, like God-given ability, just raw physical tools. The ceiling, like his physical skill set, is much greater than Dak's will have ever been. Just because he wasn't blessed with the raw arm strength, like the arm strength, and that what I like to refer to as that allows separation to hold. It's like a limitless separation, as well as he's essentially a running back when he tucks the ball and runs. Dak was never really that. Like he was a mobile quarterback, a tight end mobile quarterback. I would comp it to, but Trey Lance is a running back mobile quarterback, similar to that of Lamar Jackson. Maybe not quite as laterally shift like joysticky, but same level of top end speed, same level of just raw athleticism, and he's a strong dude. I mean, he's a really good athlete, but so that was what I was excited. You can find some of my work from years and years ago when Trey Lance first entered the league. I was like, look, Kyle Shanahan's about to break the NFL with this dude, because he's never had a guy that has the arm strength to allow vertical separation to just be limitless, for it to hold forever, seemingly. And also parlaying that with the extra hat in the run game, because your quarterback has the ability to operate as if he's an extension of the run game as well and turn himself into a running back. I was like, with everything that Kyle Shanahan has done, and really anybody in the Shanahan tree is capable of, with just confusing opposing defenses with their condensed formations, lots of traffic, and all the horizontal misdirection and motion and things like that, the eye candy stuff. You parlay that with having an extra hat in the run game and then having a quarterback who can throw the football seemingly endlessly, you're cooking with gas, man. But unfortunately, the injury happened, and they struck gold with Brock Purdy, and they had to go with the known commodity as opposed to waiting it out, because their window was shrinking as far as going for it all and winning. And so they've got top of the market money at the defensive end position, and Bosa. They got top of the market money, or they're about to again, at the left tackle position, and Trent Williams. Top of the market money already, not top of the market anymore, but $20 million player in Debo. They're about to have another top of the market guy in Brandon Ayuk, assuming they don't trade him. Top of the market at running back in Christian McCaffrey, and they're getting ready to have to go pay Brock Purdy too very soon. So the window shrunk, and Kyle Shanahan had to bite the bullet. He had traded essentially 3 first-round picks to go up and get Trey Lance. But guess what? If you don't have the number one, the most important position in all football solved, then you don't have much, if of anything. So they had to do what they had to do. Brock was the guy, and now here we are. But once again, regardless of what happens with Trey Lance, I've been saying this ever since I was on a cruise. I posted the project at 2 a.m. On the cruise once I got the notification that the Cowboys had traded for a 4th-round pick for the rights to Trey Lance last year. I said it then. I'll say it again now. And even I'll say it again regardless of what happens today here in a couple hours. I love the move. And that, to me, signified a front office that was actually ahead of the curve, unlike they are in most cases with their contract situations. And doing things the right way as far as team building, valuing the team building process the right way, in order of importance, right? Getting that position first. You do whatever it takes to make sure that you have that position solved. And essentially what amounts to being a risk-free dart throw at the most important position in all of sports was worth it, regardless of what happens with Trey Lance today, tomorrow, or yesterday. It was worth it. It was the right move. It was a quality front office decision. If they strike out, guess what? That's part of the game. The chances that CD leaves, in my opinion, 0. So, once again, I'll also go back to a topic that I touched on a few weeks ago. There have been 28 quarterbacks drafted in the first round dating back to 2014. So first round draft pick quarterbacks, okay? 9 of them, if we don't count Daniel Jones, have made it to their second contract with the team that drafted them. That's roughly 30% hit rate. Damn! 30%. So that just goes to show you, man, the evaluation process isn't perfect. And the reason why is because you can't measure what matters most in most positions of sports, but especially at the quarterback position. It's right here between the ears. That's why Dak is the guy and will and should be, or should and will be moving forward. Because it's very difficult to get the mental to align with the physical. You draft guys based on traits, really. It's not even necessarily a production thing that gets you to the first overall pick. Like, you got to have some production, but if you don't have the traits, then you can't go. Period. Like, Josh Allen was a gamble on traits. Patrick Mahomes was a gamble on traits. Even Mitch Trubisky was a gamble on traits. Daniel Jones, 6'5", was a gamble on traits. Like, the physical is much easier to evaluate than the mental is. The mental is damn near impossible. But you got companies now like the S2 and the Wonderlic gives you a tiny glimpse into what's happening upstairs. But the S2 is much more. I need to do some more work on that as well, because I've posted projects on that front, but I haven't really talked about it in quite a while. But that's important. And the Cowboys were one of the 14 teams at the time when I did the project a little over a year and a half ago now that pay and utilize the services of the S2 cognition test. So, yeah, Trey Lance going crazy today. Don't be surprised, man, when he does. It's vanilla defenses that he's going to see. It's secondary guys in a lot of ways. But the Cowboys defense that he's been playing against is very talented in general. But then you add the post-snap confusion that Mike Zimmer is inevitably going to throw in there. It makes it very difficult to play the position. And he stacked some good days together, and he's looked pretty good. So, you think we win this preseason game? Honestly, I couldn't care less if we do or don't. But I'm just excited to watch guys like Mozzie Smith, Marshawn Nealon, Cooper Beebe, Trey Lance, all those guys, just guys that I know are going to have significant roles on this roster, or that we need to step up, in Mozzie's case, to improve from a year ago. Man, you got to have it. You got to have it. Real quick, y'all vibe to this for a second while I take care of something real fast. A little caffeine. Prospective partners, hit me up. Still don't have a single partnership yet. Can y'all believe that? Can't hear that? Y'all don't hear that beat on TikTok? I do have a True Brand hat. Sure do. The other audio setup, it's right here. It's active. Can y'all not hear that on the TikTok side of things? I know YouTube can hear it. Y'all can't hear that? What the heck? Dang. I thought I was balling with these sound drops over here. I'll figure it out though. I know it's working on YouTube's end. I have to figure out why it's not working on y'all's. NFL Mike says you'll get one, man. Yeah, I'm not worried about it, man. It's in God's hands at this point. I've been praying for the right one to come. It's gonna come. I'm not worried. I actually have been picky. I have plenty of. I should be forthcoming about that too. Go ahead and stop that audio. I've had plenty of people reach out to me about it, but it's just I want to partner with a company that I believe in, and that way that it'll make the, it'll make endorsing them and their company just seamless and organic. Otherwise, what's the point? I don't want anything to be forced. I want it to happen naturally, and I want to work with somebody that I believe in. So that's what I'm waiting for, the right opportunity to come, and it will at some point here real soon. We'll see. Dak and CD gone. Cooper gonna be the next room. Good D, no offense. Mark HDZ says Dak and CD gone. Cooper gonna be the next Romo. Good D, no offense. Hold on.
All right, yeah, get him the hell out of here, will you, please?
You can't hear the drop. If you want to hear the drops, go to the YouTube side of things. It's way cooler.
Throw him out.
Leadfoot, to answer your question, man, it is the best tasting, the most refreshing pre-workout. Like, I literally sip on it. It's lower on the beta-alanine spectrum, so I don't get the tweaky like face tingly feeling. But if I just, man, it's I'll just say I'm I'm not gonna oversell, underdeliver, but I have not changed in going on a year now. This has been my product. I used to like cycle through, like if I try one, test it out, and then try a new one. This is going on a year now. The same product, same exact product. So that's all I'll say. It just kind of puts me. It's like I notice it's just more like not complete tunnel vision, but it's much less like jittery and squirrel brain, like just kind of bouncing off the walls. It's just like I'm locked in. If that makes sense. Yeah, it's good stuff, man. Leadfoot, you can hear the audio drops, right? Let me know real quick just to make sure, because I already got the confirmation from Day earlier this morning right at the top of the show, but I just want to make sure that you're still hearing it. Nothing's glitching through the system, through my browser or through StreamYard, one of the two. Where you get the hat and the shirt. So this is both Waggle, man. Actually, the whole fit. Hold up. Shorts, shirt, and the hat. That's all Waggle. You can hear this.
I am
Leadfoot.
inevitable.
You can hear those drops. How about that one? Yeah. Boy, don't get me acting up in here. Perfect. Good to hear, man. Good to hear. Y'all check me out on the YouTube side of things, man. That's I'm growing. I'm growing slowly but surely. 13,000 on Twitter, I think, right now. 30 plus thousand on TikTok. Only about 2 or 3 on YouTube. Obviously, that's the hardest subscriber to get. It's tougher to come by each one, but I just haven't been as active since my daughters came into the picture, man. I had to sort of take a step back from the long form production, and it was just much easier for me to get in with a quick hitting reel, short form stuff, and get out. That way I could just still be the dad that I wanted to be. But now that I've got through, my followers who are more than generous to help me take the next step, and so where I can focus more on the live production and just engaging in more interactive fashion, in a more fun way, give me the soundboard, man. You guys, good stuff, Jose. I appreciate you, man. Thanks for being here. Shout out to my guy Jose in the building.
Yeah! What? Okay!
That's for you, my man. I appreciate you. But yeah, you guys so generously gave. The good Lord blessed me, and so I took the next step, and I got the soundboard rocking. So now I can focus on I can answer more questions. I can meet new people. I can spend more time on long form stuff and then still just have fun with the interactive and creative side of things through the soundboard and spend less time editing. Because I already, I'm partnered, not partnered, but I'm working directly with and for Inside Texas, covering the Longhorns as well. Once again, let me go ahead and get this one up for y'all. But so I'm doing all the short form stuff for Inside Texas. So if I can do long form for the Cowboys, it'd be a nice little switch up for me to just take a break from the monotony of that. And it's not that it's monotonous in a bad way. It's just it'll keep it fresh to where it stays fun. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense for y'all. But yeah, once again, I know there's at least 1 or 2 people in here that contributed to the Lando Show Fund that allowed me to go above and beyond and get the Rodecaster, upgrade the new microphone. I got the Shure XLR mic right here now, as well as this the old Blue Yeti Nano that I'm rocking still for the TikTok side of things. But man, life is good. I can't wait for this season though, just to sort of to take the next step in my own personal career and continue growing, continue meeting new people, and continue bringing the truth about not only the Cowboys but football and sports in general to passionate fans like yourselves who deserve to hear it. So. Matthew McConaughey, what a guy. Alex Rivera in the house, just subscribed, came over from TikTok. Hey, one time for my man Alex.
Yeah! What? Okay!
Appreciate you, my man. Thank you so much. Yeah, there's a way that you can. So once again, I'm just trying to troubleshoot that process, Jose. If you have some expertise in that regard, feel free to let me know. I'm all ears, dude. Appreciate that. Yeah, it has the Bluetooth compatibility for sure. It's got USB, it's got XLR and Bluetooth. So I mean, it's amazingly compatible. But I'm new to it all, so baby steps. one step at a time. The next step is just mastering the. I got to get a mouse so that I can be quicker, so it's not as slow for y'all. But on the YouTube channel, not only will I have the sound drops and things like that, I'll be able to pull up the using StreamYard or OBS, one of the two, to sort of mirror my screen so that you guys can see clips and just anything that's relevant to what I'm talking about at the time. I'll be able to navigate more seamlessly and bring it to life from the video side of things as well. So no, CD's not reporting. He's still holding out. So not only is he not on site, he has zero chance of playing today. He won't even be on the sideline, I don't think. Props to you for sticking with this team. I'm tapping out on this season. Just such a mess. Hey man, well I can't tell you what to do, but if you're here, I can tell you that you're in the right place, because I'll try. I'm not necessarily going to try to change your opinion whatsoever, but I'll tell you what I've been saying all offseason, and it's if there's somebody out there that needs some optimism, it's this. The Cowboys were the number 2 seed in the NFC last year, right? One of the best in the NFL at offensively, just putting points on the board, throwing the football all over the yard, led by and just an MVP caliber quarterback. You got that dude, you're going to have a chance no matter what. In most cases, okay? But the problem is the Cowboys were the most one-dimensional football team in all sports. They were one of the best in the league, if not the best, at throwing the football. And they were one of the best in the league, if not the best, at stopping the other team from throwing it with their pass rush. The things that they did well a year ago, all those guys are coming back, with the exception of maybe a rotational defensive edge piece or two, i.e. Dante Fowler, i.e. Dorrance Armstrong. Rotational, mind you. Keep that in mind. But the same thing offensively as well, right? They couldn't run the football a year ago either. But everybody responsible for their passing game, their passing prowess being at the level that it was a year ago. And also, once again, year one of a brand new offense, you got a quarterback that's second in the MVP voting. That should speak volumes to you about how talented he is. But then you got CeeDee Lamb, Jake Ferguson, Brandon Cooks, Jalen Tolbert taking the next step. That's another topic, right? For your offense to improve in the passing game, Jalen Tolbert just has to be marginally better than Michael Gallup. And all due respect to Michael, that's a very low bar. Damn, that was kind of a bar right there, but you get what I'm saying, right? So it's not hard to be better running the football, and it's not hard to be better stopping the run. That's the point. Okay, I hope that makes sense to you, and I hope that I inspired some optimism. Ooh, okay, there we go. 1, 2, 3, ABC. I don't know if you're coming over from the TikTok side, but if you're not, if you are, or if you aren't, either way, welcome. Come in, baby. You want to come in with me? My daughter wants to come in. Okay, so we got Adam. He says, fair points. Dak's comments about the fan base really soured me. Man, so here's another thing. This is why I need I need to get the mouse and the video aspect as well. What he said, I think in a lot of ways was actually taken out of context. Maybe I'm wrong there. But if I'm correct in assuming what exactly you're talking about specifically, where he essentially said, well, if you're apathetic about the team, then then don't watch, or something along those lines. He was essentially saying, like, y'all weren't as hurt about the way things ended as we were. Essentially saying, look, it matters to us just as much as it matters to you. That's how I took it. Like, he's saying, look, y'all, if y'all think it hurt for you, imagine how we felt. And imagine how inspired and fired up that we are to rectify that, right? And to get better. That's how I saw it personally. Is Overshown getting in there? I think so, man. Yeah! I want to say that he is. I don't see why he wouldn't. He's been a full go all camp, and so I would imagine he's essentially a rookie. Like, he's still a rookie to me at this point. Once again, you got to prove it to me on the field before I can just say that you're a veteran or that you're deserving. Like, you got to go earn it. So, yeah, to me, that I think you're going to see it. Mm-hmm. Okay, so back to so same question on this side as ABC on the YouTube side of things. I'm gonna try to prioritize the YouTube side of things, y'all, because I really want to start to just make this more of a priority right now. It's easier for me, and it's better that way for everybody. Personally, it's more interactive, it's more fun. But so to Alex, or 123 ABC, he says top 5 things you're looking for during this game. I'm just kind of write these down as I go over here. Actually, let's do it on the computer. Why not? So number 1, Trey Lance, obviously, just because it's the most important position. Cowboys traded up significant draft capital for him to go and get him a 4th round pick. So that's number 1. I'll say number 2, Mozzie Smith, because of his 1st round draft stock from a year ago and how bad the Cowboys were at the position, how desperately they need somebody to step up so that they can be better at stopping the run, so that they can marginally improve in that one specific area, and that makes their entire team better. Right? Once again, you got to earn the right to stop or to rush the passer. So I'm going to say Mozzie Smith, just not turning himself into an all-star, just marginally improving. Let's just say he's a solid rotational piece alongside Linval Joseph.
Okay.
My guy Linval is on his way. Help is on the way. If y'all have missed my comments on that regard as well, that's another thing to pay close attention to. I guess another thing for today would be Kalen Carson, because Cowboys had a 3rd round grade on him, got him in the 5th. If you have one lockdown corner, you're doing well, and you have a chance to you have a chance to be a good defense. If you have 2 lockdown corners, then you have a chance to be a dominant defense. And they do, by all accounts. I think they do have 2 shutdown capable guys, and Deron Bland and Trayvon Diggs. Once again, assuming his health, though, we don't know. Is he going to trust the knee? How's his brain in his body? How is his brain going to process his physical health of that knee? Right? Is he going to allow himself to? Is he going to trust it fully and be back to the Trayvon Diggs that we all came to know and love prior to the injury? That's still TBD. But Kalen Carson, I would say, because of just the positional value, and then if you just add him, like God forbid, if anything happens to Jordan Lewis. Trayvon Diggs isn't 100% of himself yet, right? He gives it a go. He starts game 1, and it's just like you can just tell something ain't right. So we're like, okay, put him on ice for a little bit. You can IR him. Put him on IR if you want. Miss half the season, but just get ready for the home stretch when we need you the most. Kalen Carson can step in and be the ball hawking, confident, sticky dude that we've seen all training camp so far. Granted, against a bunch of guys who most Cowboys fans don't know yet at the receiver position. I get it. But when Deron Bland, a 1st-team All-Pro, is giving a rookie like that his stamp of approval, saying, "Yeah, this dude's coming. He's going to be a problem." My ears perk up and my eyes lock on to him, and I start noticing. I start paying very close attention, because you don't just show up to camp on a new team and just be taken under the wing necessarily, and just have all these established veteran dudes start singing your praises. Like, you got to earn that. Once again, there's levels to this. I've been in professional locker rooms before as a baseball player. I know how status works. Like, you don't just show up and get respected. You got to earn that respect. So, Kalen Carson, man, like I've already said it once. I'll say it again. He has the chance to be the steal of the 2024 NFL draft. Not just like for everybody. So, and once again, it's just in terms of value alone, the Cowboys got him 2 rounds of value better than they had him graded. They had him graded in the 3rd round. They got him in the 5th. So, so that's the thing. I didn't say that they were going to bench Jordan Lewis. I'm saying, God forbid, if anything happens to either him, Deron Bland, or Trayvon Diggs isn't right still, then you still have depth, and you have 3 more than capable guys at the cornerback spot. So, Kalen Carson's number 3. I'm going to go ahead and say Marshawn Nealand is number 4. I'm thinking about this as I go, and I'm typing it. I'll submit it once I'm done with the 5th one. But because just as passionately and outspoken as I've been towards the Cowboys' run defense from a year ago being the lowest hanging fruit for their team in total. That is the position. Oh, my fault, Cowboys Nature. I misunderstood you. My bad, man. Thanks for clarifying that. So Marshawn Nealon, though, that's a guy that you can go back and listen to the pre-draft breakdowns and things like that I did with my guy Ben. We knew that Marshawn Nealon, like day one, stepping into this league, was a pro-ready run defender at the edge position. So to have somebody like that you can stick opposite of DeMarcus Lawrence, and that way teams can't just necessarily single out Micah Parsons, like, because once again, it's a rabbit hole. But y'all catch me rapping about this topic for a long time, so I'm gonna try to keep it short real quick. But teams prefer to run at Micah Parsons before they prefer to run at D-Law. Okay, Micah's two superpowers are rushing the quarterback, just pass rush, right? Obviously. And pursuing the ball carrier from the middle of the field or from the second level, where you can't just take him out of the play because he's just entrenched at one spot up front. Okay, he's not an elite edge setting presence in the run game. He's just not. He's less just that's just not his strength. It's not who he is yet. Anyway, Marshawn Nealon is a different story. That's a dude. He's got like 10 or 15 pounds on Micah, but he's just the power in his hands when he's lined up on the edge, and his willingness and understanding of setting the edge in the run game, it was ready-made for the NFL. And so that's a guy that instantly improves your run defense as well. If you have two DeMarcus Lawrences in the run game, and that's high praise, I understand that, but I'm just hypothetically speaking here. And then you've got Micah in the middle, where are you running? It's a lot more difficult. We'll just put it that way for a coach to say, okay, this is what we're going to do. Like if you know that Micah's lined up on the left defensive end position, like he was against Buffalo and against Green Bay all week, any Shanahan team in particular, but really any quality playoff opponent is going to line up. They're going to condense the formation, and they're going to chip him all day long, elbows and shoulder pads and tight ends and H-backs and running backs just into his rib cage all day. And you just run right at him, wear him down, and then he's much less of a problem, getting after you in the pocket. It's just the way that it is. And then number 5, we'll get to it real quick. Quick restroom break. YouTube side of things, y'all be soothed by this delicious melody here. Appreciate y'all waiting, hanging in there with me. Number 5. Shouldn't be taken as too much of a surprise for you, but let's go ahead and type it in. Right there.
Yeah!
Tyler Guyton. Pretty obvious, right? Premium position. This year's first round pick, replacing not only a legend in your building, but a Hall of Famer in his own right in the entire NFL. Consummate professional, just the staple and the foundation of your team for 12 years? Dating back to 2011. Tyron Smith, tough guy to replace, big shoes to fill, obviously. I'm just now noticing, by the way, sidebar, the Broncos got new uniforms. I didn't realize they were having sort of an identity change. Not that God knows they needed it. But Poor franchise, man. Like lately, they just haven't been able to put it together. I kind of hope they do though. I feel like they got pieces in the right place, but I kind of like that's a good look. It's a clean look. Got the little matte navy helmets, and then kind of change things up with the striping and the piping on the all whites. It looks good though. Bo Nix rifles one little speed out, showing good arm strength even off his back foot. It's good stuff. Man, I'm ready for the Cowboys to play. We actually have storylines to talk about. We can stop speculating. Okay, so J-Bone Viz says, I was torn between BB or Guyton for number 5. Yeah, so that's the thing, too, is, and once again, those guys probably should, like, Cooper Beebe probably should be put in there. And you could easily say that you could, like, that really, you're right, because once again, same exact discussion that we had with Cooper Beebe or with Marshawn Nealon. My thoughts towards him, like just knowing what the Cowboys' lowest hanging fruit was or is, and what held them back last year, right? Being one of the most one-dimensional teams, one of the most one-dimensional playoff teams that I can ever recall seeing. Throw the football with the best of them. Stop the other team from throwing it with the best of them, but run the football and stop the run with the worst of them. It's just crazy what things came to with their roster construction and things like that. But yeah, Cooper Beebe once again. So you put him in the middle of a first-team All-Pro to his left and a first-ballot Hall of Famer to his right. You are going to be able to do some amazing things getting downhill. Like you'll see a completely, like you won't even recognize the way that you're able to control the line of scrimmage, unlike they were a year ago with Tyler Biadasz in between those two guys. That was part of the excitement. That's why you see content creators all over the place, like myself, Botch, Sky, J-Tuck, my guy Nix on Twitter. All across the board, people are like, please God, Foots is another one that's been very outspoken on this too. Please God, shout out to all those guys, by the way.
Yeah! Come on! I ain't gonna preach too long.
Don't take the service too far. All right, that's enough, Bishop Bullwinkle. All them guys, they know that was one of the lowest hanging fruits. If you can control A gap and B gap and get downhill on people, you don't have to necessarily be super creative with the outside zone scheme and just like having CeeDee Lamb run the football, put Kevontae Turpin in motion, let him go. You can go downhill. You can punch people in the mouth. Hold on one second. TikTok wants me to verify this puzzle piece to continue. You can go punch people in the mouth downhill, and guess what? All of a sudden, your power backs are that much more physically imposing. And that was part of my argument for Deuce Vaughn, which we're going to segue into in just a second here. Deuce Vaughn, and this is just like, I guess me being an athlete, my athletic background, I don't know if it cultivates this mentality or this thought process, but I'm going to walk y'all through this for just a second, okay? Here's my Deuce Vaughn. I don't know where this came from, but one day this just showed up underneath my computer. So it's a little Jedi, a little blue lightsaber. But this is Deuce Vaughn, right? And no, that's not a small joke. If Deuce is running behind an offense that's more outside zone predicated, the way that they were, or the way that they thought they wanted to be with Tony Pollard, kind of a one cut and just go type of dude with a head of steam. Like, just think about it, okay? You've got, just picture like outside zone, like the wall is moving as Deuce is running like this, okay? So if you're doing some of those types of things in the run game or trying to get Deuce going in that regard, well, guess what? All the defensive the defense has a head of steam as well. So that thereby neutralizes Deuce's, like, his superpower as a football player. His sleight of stature gives him an elite level of misdirection and change of direction. lightning quick in an instant. It happens quicker for him than it does most other people because he's so low to the ground. So when teams, it's easier to corral him if you already have a head of steam, right? If you're flat-footed now let's pivot, okay? Other side of that coin. Think about it. You're flat-footed. You got the Cowboys now with powerful Cooper Beebe, or in theory, just Brock Hoffman. Like, let's just say he's a step above Tyler Biotish in the power department and the people moving department. Okay. Now all of a sudden you've got this wall of mountains, a mountain of men, gap scheme going duo downhill at you. So you're having to sort of stack and shed. You're not necessarily moving laterally with a head of steam. Okay. You're flat-footed, but Deuce is all world at doing this. Changing directions, right? It's much harder for a 320-pound dude who's trying to stack and shed, not only to see Deuce behind behind the mountain of men in front of him, but then trying to corral him while being flat-footed. It's more difficult. So Deuce, if you can go downhill at people, the whole point is, I'll summarize, Deuce is better between the tackles because you can't see him. If he's going sideways first behind the line of scrimmage trying to find a one cut and go, he's not, like, power isn't his game, really, but it gives the defense time to sort of track. They can see him better because they have more time to figure out where he is because he's behind the line of scrimmage longer. If you're going downhill at people, you have much less time to react and you can't see him. It's just, that's the way that my brain processes it. Now, with that being said, okay, I also think, obviously, the new rules, right? I'm on record saying this like a month and a half ago. It seems like everybody is talking about it now on the mainstream media airways and television networks. The new kickoff rule that we've already seen, and we've had a full week of preseason to sort of get inundated with it, but it's much more a running play than it is any sort of return play that we're used to seeing, right? Because it's like, it sort of mimics the line of scrimmage because guys are lining up 5 yards across from each other. They can't really move until the ball is like in the hands of the return man. So running backs, like most teams are putting running backs back there alongside their speed punt return demons. Like for the Cowboys, it's been Rico Dowdle alongside Kevontae Turpin on kickoff return. A month and a half, 2 months ago, I was talking about Deuce making the team because he's different than any other running back in the room, right? His skill set, he's the one guy that's uniquely different. But B, because I thought that he would be able to give you something, like you have a dynamic duo with him being more that running back focused mindset behind the new look kickoff return, or the kickoff rules in the kickoff return game. But the problem is now, though, is he's hurt. So that's Eric Mendoza in the house. What's up, my man? How you doing? Yeah. If you're hurt, you can't make the roster because it's already an uphill battle, right? To begin with. But B, there's no room if you're not gonna have a role in the offense, you can't have two gadget guys that don't produce, that are only special teams gadget dudes. Like Kevontae is already on this team, so Deuce doesn't have a role as just a gadget return man. Unless something were to happen, once again, knock on wood, to Kevontae. So, but I think, Deuce's skill set, once again, my whole me pounding the table for him, my case for him making the roster this year was that he is different and that he would be the benefactor of, giving the defense something else to worry about. It's a completely different look than in any of the aforementioned, like Royce, Rico, Zeke, Malik. Those guys' skill sets are all very similar in terms of downhill, kind of more at you, just powerful players. Malik Davis maybe a little bit less so. But Deuce is he's the opposite of that, right? So being different matters, and I still stand by that. Like, I think there's a role for him, and there are many worlds in which he can be a very, very effective football player on Sundays. You don't just go from being, the nation's leader in all-purpose yards in college at the Power 5 level and giving teams like Alabama hell whenever you play them, in the postseason to just all of a sudden being an irrelevant football player. That just doesn't make sense to me. Like I know that he's capable of helping somebody out, but it just happened. You just got to find the right coaching staff that knows how to deploy him, and we'll see if that's the case this year or not. But if he's hurt, then there ain't anything anyone can do, much less myself. So they were using Deuce in the pass game from Jose. Yeah, they were, and once again, many people tried to say, well, that's because they don't know how to use him as a running back. I thought that I disagreed with that. I said, hell no. That's because they know how unique he is as a receiver. He can do everything. He's a mismatch nightmare. You motion him into the slot, and all of a sudden, like you put 2 tight ends on the field, CeeDee Lamb and Brandon Cooks, and then you've got Deuce Vaughn in the backfield. Dak Prescott steps back from under center, Deuce Vaughn motions to the slot, and all of a sudden you've got, the defense is matching personnel based on who you jog out there. So if you're in 2 tight ends, if you got 2 or 3 tight ends out there, they got to bring 2 linebackers at minimum, but 3 usually, right, to try to match you. Then all of a sudden Deuce motions into the slot, and you've got him matched up against a linebacker. Good luck. So part of him repping at receiver, it's not that he didn't have a role as a running back. It's that I got to be on the same page with my quarterback. I got to develop chemistry there. There's chemistry that has to occur, right? So people saying that was crazy to me personally, but once again, it's just my opinion. I could be wrong. That's just how I see it. Eric Mendoza says, "What's up, Lando? What's up, my man? Did I already say what's up to you? I've been on a tangent, so apologize if I didn't. They just need to be willing and able to use him. Yeah, I think I would add the caveat to that statement, Jose, as and able. But once again, the whole thing, like I give Mike McCarthy a pass for not being able to figure it out last year. Jeff Blasco was out for a personal leave of absence between weeks 1 and 7 last year. And B, they were trying to get everybody, the entire roster on the same page in a brand new system. They didn't have time to focus on getting Deuce the football. Like that was a secondary, tertiary battle for them. You got to pick and choose your battles wisely when you're installing a brand new offense, new language, new playbook, new everything, right? It was wipe the slate clean and start fresh. So, what do we got? But yeah, the thing is, the offense is going to be inevitably good. Period. Long as 4 is upright and healthy, you got CD in the house, which that's inevitable as well.
I am inevitable.
You're gonna have a top offense in the game, but if you can just make yourself more dynamic in the running game, then you really start to give people a lot of problems. So excited to see Overshown says J Bum Vids. I agree with you, man. Can't wait to see that dude. And the reviews have been rave by all accounts. So exactly, Jose gets it, man. Jose, hold on. I need to add the round of applause, like the hand clap feature, but instead you're just gonna get the anthem, because that's it, dude. I mean, that's it. Jose says last year it didn't matter who was back there outside of prime AD. And by the way, that never mind. I'll save that for a little bit later. Your point is spot on. Outside of prime AD, I don't care, or I don't know who would have succeeded with that offensive line in the run game. And maybe that's a little bit hyperbolic, yes, but his point is well taken, and I hope people understand and agree with what he's saying, because I've been saying the same thing all year, or all offseason, I should say. It's the who. It's not the who in the run game. It's the how. Let me say that again. It's not the who in the run game. It's the how. So they didn't understand the how last year. And so Deuce Vaughn is now he's the scapegoat for some odd reason when people don't want to acknowledge. Yes, his yards per carry were less than that of guys like Rico and Tony. I get that, but let's not pretend like the running game was at all good remotely from a year ago whatsoever. And it dang sure wasn't good when it mattered the most in the postseason. Rev Kramer says, "What's good, Landon? It's the coach's job to get the playmakers the ball." Talk to him, brother. Talk to him.
Yeah!
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Overshown sounds like he's growing into a budding leader. He gets it. The linebacker core may be better off than we originally thought. Yes. So once again, I'm not in Oxnard. I'm not on site. I haven't really seen practice the way that I would like to. That's why days like today are massive. We're going to see that all play out right before our very eyes. But by all accounts, it seems as if it's been a revelation to for Mike Zimmer and just the entire defensive coaching staff and the linebacker room. It seems like they're in really good hands there. And honestly, outside of maybe the defensive back spot, it's probably the deepest room on the roster, which is wild to say considering where we were a year ago. So if Kalen Carson can hold his own on the outside, would it be smart to move Bland to the slot? So I've heard that discussion happen. It sounds like DaRon Bland is your outside corner until further notice and or anything happens to Jordan Lewis. That's Jordan Lewis's spot. And to your point there, Jordan Lewis has been a ball hawk. He's been a demon in the he's been a demon. That's the wrong button. This is the one I wanted to hit. He's been a demon and just in coverage, been sticky, been jumping routes, been just like looked like a completely refreshed and revitalized dude. And there's no drop off, it seems like, from the playmaking ability from between him and Diggs and Bland. But DaRon Bland, he's on record saying he didn't play a single lick of nickel until he got to the league. So never in high school, never in college did DaRon Bland play in the nickel, which is just wild to me to think that he just seamlessly transitioned and was able to do it. I mean, and lead the team in interceptions. I think he had 6 that year when he was playing out of the nickel. And after that, his first year in the league, being a full-time starter, playing a brand new position that was unfamiliar to him, performs more than admirably. And then the following offseason, he's repping inside. And then all of a sudden, Trayvon Diggs goes down in week 2, and it's like, oh, hey, Bland, by the way, yeah, we're going to need you to go ahead and back and play outside corner again. And then he's just, ties the record for pick sixes and leads the team in interceptions again at the outside corner spot. So just wild to watch his to where he's come from a day 3 pick to, a first team All-Pro. The Cowboys can draft if they do anything well. They have the college and the pro scouting department. Well, I guess I can't necessarily give a ton of credit to the pro scouting department because they don't really bring guys in from the pro ranks, but in free agency. But the college scouting department, Will McClay, and then Stephen Jones having, I guess, feel for being able to weigh the opinions and the notes and the film and just kind of like having the right feel for which players the particular coaching staff or the scouting department is going to war for, making the right decision. So it starts with obviously the scouting department and then Will McClay, but then Stephen Jones trusting what he's hearing and then having I don't know what I'm trying to say, but I think you guys probably do, just having the wherewithal to understand, okay, I'm going to go with my gut here. I trust what these guys are telling me. I think this is the right way. They're damn good at that, y'all. And maybe that comes with the relationship, knowing and trusting each other, being a family-owned business. Like, they're all on sort of the same page. They think similarly. So maybe that helps them more than it does any or most other franchises who don't have the same familial dynamic, I guess. But yeah, if there's one thing that they do well as a front office and as an organization, it's draft. And DaRon Bland is yet another example of that. And you will soon see that Tyler Guyton is the latest in that same regard. So, thoughts on signing Juju? Yeah, I just don't think that he's going to give you anything that you can't find somewhere else on the road. Once again, like, the Cowboys already have enough tough decisions to make. Like, they're gonna be sweating and crying, cutting 2 players at the receiver spot alone. They're not. There's no way, based on the way that that room has performed. There's no way that they want to make that a third. just add to that list. And that's another thing too, man. Like the CD thing, I know people are up in arms about that and are mad at the Joneses. Once again, if you didn't hear my prediction, I was saying that there's too many Olympic headlines being stolen right now for Jerry to bite the bullet on shelling out $95 million. Obviously, I'm adding Dak and CD's APYs together. That's where I get the 95 number. But once the Olympics concludes, we might see some dominoes begin to fall. But that's just speculation. I don't know that to be true, but I just know how Jerry operates, and it's definitely not out of character for him to do something like that. But where was I going with that? Oh, so the whole thing, people are up in arms about CD not being compensated and practicing with the team is there's something good that comes from that too. Because now all of a sudden Jalen Tolbert gets that many more reps as the 1 or the 2 receiver. So like in 12 personnel, guess what? Jalen Tolbert's on the field in practice. Whereas if CD was paid and he was in camp, in 12 personnel, Jalen Tolbert's not on the field. He's not getting that rep. You see what I'm saying? Now, in 11 personnel, Jalen Brooks is getting all the reps that Jalen Tolbert would have otherwise be getting. So now it's Tolbert, Cooks, Brooks, or Tolbert, Cooks, Cropper. Like Cropper and Brooks are now getting all the reps that Jalen Tolbert would have got in 11 personnel reps during team period. That's what's inevitable about this whole thing is that the growth from the rest of the room, guys getting extra reps and competing with each other for those reps, trying to make a name for themselves. Like you elevate the talent in the room by giving them more reps. We ain't worried about CD getting reps right now. He don't need reps to go be the best receiver in football. If anything, it's keeping him healthy by not practicing. So, silver lining in all this. You think Dak will get re-signed? Do I?
Yeah!
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Thank you, Salcedo20. Appreciate that. Good point. He says good point.
Okay!
I appreciate that, man. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I try. I'm trying out here in these streets. Will Mozzie have a better year? So he's putting good practices together now, believe it or not. And I want to see him validate that on in the game today. But by all intents and purposes, the ability is there and we're seeing flashes of it. We're just not seeing it consistently enough. That's the problem right now. But the good news is we're actually seeing it though. In spurts. I posted a project that you guys will appreciate. Y'all go check it out. It's on TikTok. It's maybe 3 videos down or so. And it's featuring Brian Broaddus and Voch Lombardi, who did a fantastic job breaking down this whole situation. Broaddus was on site and he was mentioning Coach Jeff Zanina, who's the new defensive line coach, who's a freaking dude looks like he could still put some pads and a helmet on and go play right now. He's a freaking nature. But I mean, he's literally like pound for pound and eye to eye, top half and bottom half with Mozzie. It's remarkable what this dude is built like. I mean, crazy. But anyway, he's on Mozzie's butt every single rep, all practice long, just constantly just getting after him with. It's almost like that tough love mentality from the clips and the things that I've seen in the description from Brian Broaddus, who's on site, who's been literally just kind of hyper focusing on the Mozzie Smith situation, wanting to see how he's coming along. It's like almost to the point to where Broaddus mentioned, he's like, it seems as if Mozzie's getting so many reps that other guys are just kind of standing there like, yo, when am I going to get my turn? Like, coach, let me get some run here. But it's to the point to where, like, Jeff, he believes so much and he wants to see Mozzie. He wants to get the best out of him, and he's stopping at nothing to try and do that. But one of the clips, go watch it. You'll see the low-hanging fruit for Mozzie right now as he's sort of picked up this habit of, like, I'm trying to show you guys. It's like he's in his 4-point stance, right? He's firing off the ball, and then so it was like they were working on stacking. So it was two offensive linemen versus Mozzie. And then he has this tendency to like lift his leg up and get off of one. So he's like on one leg. But as you guys very well know, you can't anchor if you don't have both feet firmly into the ground. So he's like trying to coach him out of this tendency to like almost like try to drive off of one leg and just be so strong. And I don't know where that came from, but that's the thing that they're trying to coach out of him now. And it seems as if that's finally kind of coming along. They're kind of putting that in their rear view. And then the other thing on top of that, go watch the video. I'm telling you, you'll see it and you'll be like, whoa, that makes so much sense. It's the hand. So like the striking. So when he's firing off the ball, Mozzie has a tendency to kind of wrap this way. And like anybody who with a boxing background or that knows anything just about force production and power that comes from the ground up, essentially like the quickest and most powerful way from I guess like boxing, you don't want to necessarily you don't want to throw punches this way. That's just not efficient. It's not powerful. It's just not. It doesn't work, right? You want to stay here, and it's just boom, just in line like this way. So I don't really know how to put it into boxing terminology for y'all. I'm not a boxing expert, but I've heard Okoye mention that many times. He's a dude. I mean, he's a boxing coach, so he know if anybody would know, it would be Okoye. And that's just defensive line technique, man. It's got to be here. So you got to sort of stay inside your frame. Mozzie has a tendency to want to wrap. And so it's those two things. If they can get that out, he's already, like Bruce Feldman had him as the number one on his freaks list prior to his draft year 2 years ago. The daggum equipment manufacturer for the strength coach at the strength and conditioning facility at Michigan had to come in and literally re-weld the bar on the push-pull strength machine so that they could add 200 more pounds on top of what they thought was humanly possible for Mozzie. I have a project posted on that as well, right when he was drafted. They had to come in, the manufacturer of the equipment inside Michigan strength and conditioning facility had to come in, disassemble the machine and re-weld it so that the bar is longer so that they could add more weight on top of what 200 pounds more than they thought was humanly possible. Damn! That's how strong Mozzie is. Dude's like Thanos out there, man.
I am inevitable.
So the ability is there. It's just about technique. You know, and part of that, I don't know how much we attribute that to Dan Quinn, but the Dan Quinn regime is all about penetrating and getting uphill, north and south, and turning guys into pass rushers, even if that wasn't who they were previously. You know, you hear the Cowboys get mocked when they select Mozzie Smith because he was a one-dimensional one-tech, right? The conventional wisdom was that one-technique defensive tackles shouldn't be taken in the first round if they can't rush the passer. Well, guess what? Mozzie didn't rush the passer in college. That's not what he did. It wasn't his strength. But he was one of the best in the entire country at stopping the run and being physical at the point of attack up front, clogging A-gap. That's what this team needs most. And that's what they drafted him to be. But then you hear all the mockery of the Cowboys selecting a defensive tackle in the first round that can't rush the quarterback. Like they start making fun of him for it.
All right, yeah, get him the hell out of here, will you, please?
Get him the hell out. Get him out of here. But, you know, then Will McClay feels like he has to go on and sort of validate the pick or verify his decision-making and his preconceived notions and saying, well, we like his ability to potentially turn into a pass rusher. And so that's why. Well, you know, then he loses 40 pounds and you know, he just, I don't know. Once again, I don't want to necessarily put it all on Dan Quinn. I don't know what was happening behind closed doors. This is just, all I can do is speculate and guess. But I don't want to be recklessly speculative, but I want to raise points that are valid and that make sense, that can help people understand what happened to this first round pick that people were so excited about. What happened? Well, if you're the most powerful player in the country and then inexplicably you're trying to sort of get accustomed to the NFL and just handle the learning curve of playing on Sundays. And then on top of that, somehow you're losing 40 pounds in the process. Make that make sense to me. It doesn't. In no world does that make sense. So was that penetrating mindset where he picked up that 1 foot deal that he's doing that Coach Jeff Zanina is now having to coach him out of? I don't know. But the weight's back up. He's up to 315 pounds, which is 15 plus 5. That's 20 pounds more. I guess he was between 290 and 295 at the end of last season. And we didn't know that until, I think, right before week 18. So the weight's getting back up. He looks powerful and explosive when he wants to be. And we're seeing those flashes. But according to Brian Broaddus, at least, who's been on site, and that's one of the people that I trust most in terms of just pure evaluation, because he's got the scouting background, right? He's a Super Bowl champion scout. But he says that the reps and the flashes are there, but the consistency is not. So I see Carlton Little 01. I agree with you, man. I agree with you.
Yeah!
You know, and then so that was what I thought all along as well. But I can't say that for sure, so I don't necessarily want to stamp that as my stance when I can't necessarily validate that that's what happened. And then, of course, you know, you get Broaddus behind the scenes too, saying that there were some things that Mozzie was dealing with in his personal life with you know, an internal struggle. We'll just leave it at that. I don't know all the details, but Broaddus was forthcoming saying he was going through some personal things last year as well. Could that have been the leading contributing factor? Sure. I don't know for sure, but it could have been. So, once again, if you're on the TikTok side of things still and you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do that. That would mean the world to me if you guys would support me in that regard right now. We're trying to monetize the YouTube channel too. Right now, we're not quite there. I think we're almost at 3,000 subscribers, but the watch hours and in the calendar year have to meet the standards. So that's why we're working on the YouTube stuff now, bringing that back up to par and up to standard. So I appreciate that. If y'all are listening, thank you. Wave says, "What's up, Lando and Cowboys Nation? I hope all is well. Let's get this W today and see what's going on here, man. I can't wait." So, would y'all want me to, if I get out of here right now, would y'all be cool with that? And maybe after the, because I really wanted this to just be kind of a quick hitter and just kind of go over some things that I'll be watching. But obviously, we're gonna have a lot more to talk about after the game today, as opposed to beforehand. So, would y'all want me to go live after the fact as well? I can't promise that because I've got fatherly duties to attend to, but I wouldn't mind doing that at all, because I'll have all my notes and things like my takeaways, and we'll have much more context to try to break down after the fact as opposed to right now. But I'm cool. I'm chilling, so I'm in no rush either way. 3:30 Central Time, Jay. Appreciate the follow too. We got Dallas Steven. We got who is this? Scotty Too Hottie.
Yeah!
What else we got over here? Forgot I added that one. This drop is hilarious. I know y'all remember this one from back in the day. Listen, Linda. That little kid is so crazy. He's probably 20 years old now, but at the time, that was one of the funniest videos. That was like one of the first videos I ever saw on YouTube. The Listen Linda kid. Little boy was trying to tell his mom or whoever it was. He was telling her something. He was letting them know from the heart. He's like, "You're wrong, I'm right." Little 2-year-old kid with attitude. He might have been 3, but having a 2-year-old now, that whole thing comes full circle, man. It's so funny just to see it from that perspective. What other questions we got, y'all? Let's go back on the TikTok side of things. I don't want to make y'all feel like I'm not giving you any love as well, because y'all absolutely deserve it. What's on YouTube? The YouTube is same handle on all platforms. It's at the Lando Show. You'll find me. Come on over. Once again, I got the Roadcaster, so it's more interactive. It's just better. It's more fun over on the YouTube side of things. I can get more creative with it. All starters out today? No, not necessarily. Most of the ones, the household names aren't playing, but you know, you're going to see people like Tyler Guyton. You're going to see Cooper Beebe, who could potentially be a starter. You're going to see Marshawn Nealand, who's probably going to be a starter, or at least have more than a rotational role. You're going to see who else? Who else am I missing? Y'all help me out here. I'm trying to just wrap off top. There's going to be some guys that are going to be major contributing players today. Like, you know, ideally we would have seen Royce Freeman play. I don't know if Rico's active today. I would imagine he's not, but there you go. Receivers. Jalen Tolbert's going to play a lot. Kevontae Turpin, I imagine, is going to get some return at the very least. You're gonna see healthy dose of guys that have been headline Steelers at camp all year, like Jalen Cropper, Jalen Brooks. They're gonna play. You're gonna see Tyron Billy Johnson play a lot. You're gonna see some of the linebackers like Maris Lufau, I imagine. DeMarvin Overshown, he's still a rookie in my mind. He's going to play. So not necessarily starters per se, but tons of guys that are going to be very, very, very vital, contributing to the success of your team. Lufau, yeah, from Cross the Level, absolutely. I can't wait to watch him, man. Getting Zimmer's stamp of approval. Like, you got a 30-year veteran in this league, like Mike Zimmer, who's sort of got that hard-nosed mentality, or I guess the reputation, I should say, to once again put the stamp of approval on a rookie of Maris Lufau, calling him, and I quote, brilliant. Like, that to me, that speaks volumes. Damn. Yeah. You're gonna have PTSD. Yeah. Hey man, rightfully so, dude. Anything goes. Anything goes in this sport, man. So just prayers up for a clean bill of health coming in and out of this game, and happy game day from TJ. What's up, brother? Love you. Hey, this one's for you right here. I got you, big dog. For my guy TJ, my best man.
Yeah! What? Okay!
I know you're vibing right now too, seeing Patrick Mahomes play a couple days ago. That was crazy, man. The best in the world. Best that I've ever seen, arguably, still going out there and leading by example in the preseason. Shout out to him. Shouts out to the man. Damn. Happy game day. Okay. Oh, I'm having fun with this soundboard, brother. Daniel says, what's up, fellas? What's up, Big D? What's up, Big D?
Yeah!
Hey, TJ, vibe to this one too real quick. This one's for you. Shout out to the newlyweds, TJ and Hannah Elkins, who are my best friends in this entire world. Just getting back into their routine, their home life, post wedding and post celebration, off traveling the world in Europe, doing all kinds of crazy things I was jealous of. Freaking seeing Switzerland the way that they saw it. I guess that I saw Hannah's post, man. You got to take a train. It was like a train that only a train can get you to where you guys were in Switzerland, and those mountains, man, those views, the vibes had to have been incredible. But question from Daniel: you think Zimmer? I'll finish off that thought, TJ. I love you, man. See you soon. Bishop Bullwinkle, you already know, bro. You already know where we at. Here we go. I think you can't not be in a good mood when you hear that. Come on now. Yeah. No. Also, this one right here too. I know TJ is privy to this one as well. The anthem. We're back, y'all. We are so back. This is what we're hearing. This type of stuff now. When we wake up on Sunday mornings, getting our Jesus in, and then we hear the secondary church bells, as I like to call it. Man. Golly, I'm so happy. Life is so good. Now back to JF's question. All right, who asked the Zimmer question? Daniel. You think Zimmer will help our defense? Do I ever? Just listen to Dak talk about it, man. You got an MVP caliber quarterback who is just addressing the window dressing, the rolled coverages, the changing of the pre and post snap picture. He's going to give people problems, y'all. Just wait. I'm telling you, when you got ball hawks the way that the Cowboys do at their cornerback position, like, this isn't Kool-Aid at all. This is just, they're the best in the game at taking the football away for 3 or 4 years now. That hasn't changed. And they were still number one in that department, even without one of the best in the business at doing that last year in Trayvon Diggs. And that's with teams knowing, like, they're lining up and they're not changing the picture post-snap. Like, quarterbacks, what they see pre-snap, that's what they're getting post. And they were still the best in the world at doing that. Now, part of that is because of the philosophy of just getting vertical north and south with their pass rush. Teams that aren't, equipped to handle that onslaught coming at you over and over and over again. Yeah, you're going to force tight windows and you're going to see some things happen in that regard. But, man, there are nuances and levels to coaching and to defense. And You can do tiny things. It's like there's easy buttons on offense, like putting a guy in motion, getting him a head start, right? That's just one of the many. But there's easy buttons on defense too, and you don't have to be one-dimensional when you push them. Damn, look at me spitting. Hold up. Damn. So, anyway, TJ says, preach, church. Jason Eves coming over from the TikTok side. See, I told y'all, look, hey, it's not just me saying it. I'm not biased. Jason Eves, hey, I like this version better than TikTok. I did it. He come over. He's on the YouTube side of things now. Spitting fire. Yeah. Puma J. Yeah, man. I'm just excited, man. I'm happy. I'm happy that we made it. I'm happy just doing something new with the YouTube thing, and it's fun, man. I'm the luckiest guy in the world. I get to be a dad, and I get to talk about my two favorite teams for a living. What could be better than that? Yeah, one time for my guy Jason Eves coming in. Here we go. I got one for you. Where we at? Where's the one I want? Right here.
I am inevitable.
This one's also for TJ too. Coming soon to a Saturday near you. Anyway. Daniel said I just come over from TikTok as well. Well, you know what, Daniel?
Yeah! What? Okay.
Shout out to you, my dog. Appreciate you being in here, man. Let's go. Let's freaking run this thing up. Run it up. 30,000 on TikTok, 13,000 on Twitter. Trying to get to 3,000 on YouTube. One step at a time. We'll get there. We'll get there. YouTube was actually the first thing that I took seriously, believe it or not. And that was back when I was literally just spraying and praying, throwing shots in the dark. I didn't know what thumbnails were. I didn't know anything about editing whatsoever. Like, I'm self-taught from the jump. Everything that you see is just me learning on the fly. So, I hope that it's a fun and entertaining product, but most importantly, I hope that it's honest, objective, and engaging, because fans like yourselves deserve to hear the truth, and that's the foundation of the Lando Show. Sports below the surface, bringing truth to the fans who deserve it the most. So,
Guys,
listen, Linda.
Listen. Okay, what?
Y'all, I got the bladder of a 2-year-old toddler. I do gotta pee, and I am gonna get out of here. I'm gonna go be a dad, go spend some time with my youngest. I just heard her crying back there. She woke up from her nap. So, yeah, I'm gonna go enjoy the last couple hours before life really does get crazy and we have real football to break down and talk about. No promises. I'm gonna try to get back in here this afternoon, at least if it's for 30 minutes, just to kind of recap what we saw and talk about it. So one last question. I'm gonna answer this one because it talks about, or it touches on one of the things that I think is very, very important. Regardless of what we see at Trey Lance, I'm gonna say this one last time. Today, tomorrow, or otherwise, taking the shot at the most important position, throwing a dart at it, 4th round draft pick, was worth it. It was wise business. It was smart on the front office to do that. Add insurance to Dak Prescott. Try to recoup that 4th round draft stock and get him to prove that he's worth more than that. You can trade up, or you can trade him for more than what you got him for. But even if it doesn't, even if he doesn't have anything to bring to this league and he's gone after this year and you got a 2-year rental and wasted a 4th round pick, it wasn't a waste to me. All that being said, how long do I expect Trey Lance to play? A guy that really had played 1 year in college, hadn't really played meaningful football since September of 2022. That's the dude that needs all the reps. I know what Cooper Rush is. I know what his ceiling is. We know what we're getting from our MVP caliber quarterback, Dak Prescott. Neither of those two guys need to do anything in the preseason as far as I'm concerned. Let Trey Lance grow and develop and have it all. And then we'll go from there. Daniel co-signs the Trey acquisition. Me too, man. Me too, brother. One last thing before we get out of here. There's only one way to send it off, and it's with the secondary church bells, as I like to call it. Right there. And with that, guys, I'm out. Appreciate y'all tapping in with me. This was once again a trial run. But here in about 2 hours, life's going to be a lot more fun than it was for the last 6 months. We got real football to talk about. The Cowboys are playing football again today. Man, we are so back. We are so back. Talk to you guys soon. Thank you.